Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It's that time of year again, and we are wishing everybody out there a happy Halloween. And what better way to spend Halloween than with two adventurers who would rather have absolutely nothing to do with it, right? I speak none other than Sir Shagrid and his faithful companion Scoobers. And yeah, obviously we know they're supposed to be based on certain dogs and members of the Mystery Machines gang, but I thought this was a fun take on a classic character nonetheless. And as the title implies, I thought we'd look at some of the Halloween-related models that the Dragon Trappers Lodge has put out, and there's been quite a few at this point. And if you're watching this video before the end of the year, or I should say the end of Halloween, not the end of the year, that's coming up too. You might want to grab these models while you still can. Obviously, if you miss it by a day or two, there's always going to be chances and opportunities to pick this stuff up again. But they are really fun models. They've got the adventure that goes along with it. And there were a few other little nods to pop culture in the release. And we don't see that very often with Dragon Trappers Lodge models, but when we do, they usually do it pretty well. I had to print out Mayor Adams. I wasn't sure if he's supposed to have a pouch of gold, it seems that way, or a goblet of wine in his hand. I mean, that would have been just as appropriate. And I'm not a whole 100% sure if this was supposed to be a take on Morticia, or if it's just a cool smexy ghost here, and that is Lady Traskvale and her ghost. She did have a wine goblet, and it actually did manage to get off the print bed. You could have seen the flute there on the bottom of it. But no, I broke that, and I did not do the best job of cleaning her, and it probably would have been a wise idea, now that I look at how dirty it was, to clean out my cleaning stuff prior to actually doing these models. But I was really impressed, just, that's all one piece, minus her base. And if I managed to get it off okay, and it was my big ungainly thumb that actually broke her wine goblet there, not anything else. But I'll be honest, these were just appetizers to get my Halloween spirit warmed up. We did see some other fun models, which I'm trying to grab. They had the really fun armor mimics from a little while back. I believe these were from a previous release. We have the before and the after. Oh my goodness, what a mess this guy has been. Thought we cleaned him up too. The joys of having the camera find all of the little teeny tiny issues. And I'll be honest, these are really teeny tiny. We'll clean them up later. They did have a plume on the top of the helmets, but unfortunately I snapped that off. Again, much like the wine goblet, they came off great. I completely broke it. That's all on me. And they can even stand on their own without a base. We'll put them on a regular base. But no, again, that was still just the warm-up for the monstrosity I'm about to inflict on you guys right now. And that is the Franken Dragon. Okay, now, this isn't much to look at, admittedly, at the moment. This is just his body. But good God, the amount of parts that are available to just make the most unseemly dragon possible is in your hands, if you wanted to print this. Rather large base. I'm going to say it's probably either a 90 or 100 millimeters. I'm not going to measure it. And I did find it interesting, and this is one of the very first times I can really recall seeing this on one of their models. Now, granted, this was an older release, and I think he got re-released. I know I had the original way back when, but I can't recall if he had these little spots for the magnets. If somebody wants to enlighten me, that would be fantastic. But you can see already it's going to be problematic. It's a bit of a chimera. We've got two different style legs already attached to the body. It's all stitched up, as it should be, because it's a Franken Dragon, right? But that's when the fun starts. There were a ton of variety of heads, arms, wings, everything available. You want a regular boring dragon head? I mean, you can. That's fine. But why settle for that when you can really go full-on mad scientist, right? Much more entertaining, right? But that's just where things start. And I really actually enjoyed the mechanical limbs for them when they want to stay in place. Obviously, this would be a great model to get magnetized. That arm doesn't stay up. You can see everything is going to fall out of place now. That's okay. That's okay. I don't want to glue it. And honestly, I've been sitting on doing this video for the longest time because I absolutely could not make up my mind as to what pieces to use. You know, I mean, the mechanical parts are nice and all. And we have the option for more traditional dragon limbs. But why do traditional when you can have really fun stuff? Like lobster claws. Maybe those are scorpion claws. I don't even know my animals, obviously. Maybe these will help them stand up better. What's funny is this guy's been sitting on my kitchen table, and just about every day, every other day, he's had new limbs attached to him. I found that quite amusing. But if we're going to have crab arms, we're going to need some kind of a crab head. No, we don't have a crab head. We've got an eel head instead. With a light bulb lure attached to his head. I haven't even started looking at the tails yet. So, I mean, you can just really go... There were giant tentacles, which just were going to take forever, and I didn't want to print them. But if you wanted to replace that, or better yet, I think this was the head that was supposed to actually go with the scorpion claws. You can come up with all kinds... I mean, obviously, if you wanted to use magnets or something, that's always a possibility as well. But we haven't even talked about some of the tails. Why have a regular tail when you can have a head on your butt, right? Sadly, the heads and the tails do not fully match. That would have been great if you could actually just swap them out if they had the same attachment point. That would have been hilarious. They don't. But then, this is the one that I don't really recall seeing in the original release of this. You may remember the Fingler models that we've seen many times that always seem to be lurking around on my table. Well, you can have your dragon completely equipped with arms everywhere. Because why not, right? I don't know which way it goes. Hands for miles, right? So it's just a fun, ridiculous model. There's tons, and I mean, I didn't even print a third of this even, I think. And you can see we've just got piles of parts everywhere. There's like electrodes for his back. There's regular wings. There's just all sorts of bizarre parts available for this guy, and I wholeheartedly recommend... I mean, I'm probably going to print out a second body just so I can use all these parts up and come up with some god-awful creations. It absolutely deserves to happen. So, if you haven't had a chance, do take a look at those. There's a lot of fun stuff to be had there. Oh, I have, like, this blazing ghost here with 3 heads. Because why not, right? And in fact, that's actually not even what I was going to talk about originally. I wanted to talk about the fact that the Children of the Flame models, and I've been searching for this guy. I don't know where I ended up putting him, but I finally found him. There is a whole medic brigade now. If you guys are interested, they're a little bit larger, a little bit bulkier, but you've got your choice of equipment for them. As I'm desperately searching, you can have them with war hammers. They're in action poses, shooting those pistols, whatever you'd like it to be. But even cooler than that, we have new veteran units where we've got our Children of the Flame all decked out in heavier armor. They're wearing helmets now. We've got full command options. Again, one of the veteran gunners. One of the basic gunners. Similar, but not the same. Obviously, this guy's being a little bit wiser, using both hands. Probably a better idea. But no, speaking of veterans, I think I mentioned veterans. I don't remember these guys in the original release. The heavy flamethrower troops I thought were kind of fun. Again, you can see he's got that helmet on. That's a clue that it's going to be one of the veterans. But then there was an actual veteran unit put together of even heavier armor troops carrying even more ridiculous weapons. And that is what I'm here for. And you can see he's got like bullet casings all over his base. Sadly, I didn't print any of the Gatling gun ones yet. One with the heavy flamer here. I did not attach him to that base because he's got stuff going everywhere, so we were going to keep things cleared. Some more of the regular flaming troops. I think this is one of the veteran commands. I really like the long coats on them with the heavier armor like this. I would absolutely love to see some of these guys carrying the rifles that we saw the kobolds with. Kind of like the machine guns that the commandos used during World War II. This would be perfect. We need a unit of these guys carrying submachine guns, you know, ready to go tromping around behind enemy lines or something. I don't know if I showed this guy before. I just stumbled upon him in a box of other models. So, again, fun stuff to be had. And what's even more interesting is the fact that, so we had the cavalry, we have new dragons as well. And we're going to get some more of the giant land worm brute drakes or whatever they were called. Equipped with mortars, which is going to be fun. No, so now we have the heavy artillery that you can now mount on these guys. Or if you wanted to just go all in, I do have one of the guys with the full veteran units heavy weapons can now be mounted. Looks like he's swinging the gun over to just gun stuff down. I'm not sure. Not sure where he's aiming. Again, I don't recall these guys being in the original release for the War Drakes here. I could be wrong. But just the fact that we can now have mounted ranged cavalry, pretty cool option. Personally, like I said, I'd love to see more of these veteran units done up with just basic regular rifles, or even just the guys in the coats, like the command unit. There's a lot of cool stuff coming for the Children of the Flame as well. So if you haven't had a chance, do take a look. There's some really fun hero models. We've got like the Abyssal Fiends of Incandriox, their rival versions. There's just a lot of fun stuff. I mean, I always feel like I'm tooting my horn on the Dragon Trappers Lodge stuff, but I can't think of anything or anybody else that really consistently puts out as many crazy, interesting, varied, unique models, and then consistently wraps them all up with that theme for wargaming purposes also. So again, if you haven't had a chance, do take a look. There's a lot of fun stuff. Me, personally, I gotta go get my costume ready. Hopefully all of you guys are gonna go have a great Halloween, and we will see you back here in November. And this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.